Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the spring edition, the spring 2019 edition of the Mercy Tiara 27-day inspiration challenge series and our YouTube hop. So I'm so honored and grateful that so many of my lovely scrappy friends agreed to do this again. It was such a fun activity. It was such a fun thing that we did in the winter edition. Everybody responded greatly to it. So my friends agreed to do it again. And so we have 17, or is it maybe 18, but at least 17 videos for you today, each taking on one of the spring challenges. And again, if you listen to the end, there might be a little bit of a bonus challenge here going on as well as another fun activity over in the Facebook group coming before the end of our series. So if you're already a member, you've probably seen all of our challenges. You have been participating and creating so many lovely projects over there. And as you know, all of the challenges are open until the 31st. There are some with prizes, some just for the fun of it, some just to inspire you. So for my contribution to today's hop, I decided to take on the Name That Supply recipe. A little bit of a twist on one that I may have done before, where I suggested you use your name and then choose some supplies. Well, this time it was to choose a name, not yours, but it could be your spouse, a child, your pet. It could even be your town, your street, or it could be a noun, which describes your profession or your job. And then the idea was to choose a supply for each letter. So basically that name had to be 5 letters or more. So the example I gave when I issued the challenge was using my kitty cat, my scrappy buddy, Chopin, as my name. So for instance, C for cardstock, H for hexagons, O for an old item, P for a punch, I for ink, and N for navy. So that is what I'm going to share with you today. I used that one to try and give you a little bit of inspiration to get this one done. And of course, I'm also using my Kill a Kit with Style for May. And I am still working at the time of recording this. I am still working on the memorial album, hence the little hidden faces here. So let's start with C for cardstock. So I simply just went into my stash and used a colored cardstock that matched this lovely paper pad that I'm using as part of my Kill a Kit with Style for May. So I used colored cardstock. Then I combined basically hexagons and an old item by going into my stash and getting a stencil that I had. And I think this is probably one of the very first stencils that I bought, which is a hexagon stencil with all sorts of different sized hexagons throughout. And then I went in and got my I for ink, and I used Stormy Weather, yes, a distress ink, and I just put a little bit sort of inked through the stencil, not necessarily so that it would be all nice and even. So I inked through in various places on my cardstock to give a little bit of a background and so that it wouldn't be just too stark of a cardstock. And that ink is pretty much navy, as is this wood veneer here. So with that one, the stencil, so in this here, I got hexagons, with the stencil, I got hexagons, an old item, ink, and navy. Not so bad, huh? So you see, you can interpret this challenge in any way you want, either by using different items or by combining some of the letters into one larger item. And then for the last item, which was punch, I used my hexagon punch here. Now, I actually had punched out the hexagon several times, and I just couldn't make it work. My original intent was to punch out the hexagons and stagger them with the inked ones. But when I actually did that, I didn't really like it. I was trying to give it some dimension. I didn't really like the effect it gave. Then I tried to just maybe use them as little different layers in different spots. Didn't like that either. So at the end, it's sort of just here acting a little bit as a tab. So there we go. Cardstock, hexagons, an old item, which is the stencil, the punch, which was my hexagon punch, ink, which was the Distress Stormy Weather, or Weathered Storm, is that what it is? One of those anyway. And then navy, which I have this lovely Pinkfresh Studio wood veneer, and the ink. So there you go. There is the challenge all in one page. So I used my How to Kill a Kit with Style here, and I just created a few rectangular layers to make a little bit of a large mat. I matted my photo with some of the same paper here. I used this red right behind the photo. Then I also used this lovely red, white, and gray. Some gray cardstock here, so another item of cardstock for the challenge. I did not raise my photo this time, since I figured I had a fair amount of layers of pattern paper here. I used a doily. I always like that to give a little bit of definition, and I find it really does just dress things up, and it often gives a place to rest some embellishments as well, as it does in this case. So I put half on top and half a little bit over to the side here. Used some Fitzgerald thickers for love and here is another little hexagon, love and laugh, because when you are able to see this picture, it is a lovely picture of my sister from another mister's mom and her dad just looking at each other, and their faces are beautiful with beautiful smiles, and they're laughing. And this was their 40th wedding anniversary, and it's the 40 down here. Then I just added a few extra little bits to frame everything, and just really did 2 clusters here of embellishments. Love You Forever, which is a chipboard piece. There is so much more ahead, because there was. And a picture is worth 1,000 words, because this picture really does. And as I've mentioned before, I'm not doing any journaling on any of these pages, because these stories are not mine to tell, although there are a few layouts of mine in there, and there will be some journaling on those, as you will see when I do the album flip through once I have given the album. So there you go. So that is my take on the Inspiration Challenge Name That Supply recipe. I hope you've been enjoying all the challenges. Please, of course, as I mentioned before, we have 17 or so videos for you today. Everybody is linked down below. Pop on over to everybody. So get yourself a drink, a coffee, a snack, stagger them out throughout today, tomorrow, and the weekend, because you will see that on Sunday, the 26th. So just in 4 days, we have another awesome activity where Scrapping Amy, One Mommy Scrapping, who is a lovely member of our group, and she's One Mommy Scrapping here on YouTube. She is also part of the Hop today, but even better, she will be doing a Facebook Live in our group on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So mark that date for an event going on to sort of close out our fun series, although there will still be 4 days to be doing the challenges. So go follow everybody, follow all of the links below, and your bonus challenge is yet again a double dip scrap lift. So scrap lift one of the awesome projects that you are going to see throughout this hop, post it over on the group, and you can post it in the challenge. So for instance, if you did this one, you would scrap lift this, so you enter it into this challenge, and then you can enter it into the Name That Supply recipe as well. There's a prize associated with this one, and it is a Scrapbook and Cards Today sampler, the lovely little sampler kit for May, because we're all about May, aren't we? So there you go. I rambled on enough. Join our group if you haven't already. Go visit all of my friends today. Follow along on the lovely hop to get yourself all sorts of inspiration. Participate in our challenges. There's still a week or so left. And have a wonderful day. We really do. I appreciate all your support, all of my lovely subbies. Thank you all so much. And we'll see you soon. Bye.